Hello, welcome to this video and welcome to my channel. My name is Emma and today I'm going to be telling you about my October TBR. Quick interlude real quick. Hi, my name is Emma. Welcome to this video, welcome to my channel. You just clicked on this video and I just interrupted my past self to tell you that I have this crazy glare in my glasses for the entire video. I'm very sorry. I don't mind people's glasses having glare on them from their lights in videos. If you do, I'm so sorry. I will have all the books that I'm going to mention in this video listed in the description, as well as you're totally welcome to come back to my channel later in the month and check out my reading vlogs to see what I actually do read. But for this TBR, I really wanted to wear my brand new glasses. I'm still new at this, so I'm trying to figure out how to be able to wear my glasses and also not have this crazy green glare that makes it look like I'm being haunted. So anyway, sorry for the interruption. Just wanted to apologize for the glare and let you know that the books are down in the description, but I hope you enjoyed the video if you're gonna stick around. If I sound a bit odd, it's probably because I'm recovering from a cold, so please excuse that. But this TBR is going to be multifaceted today. It's gonna have many different parts. For one, because I'm an impulsive reader and a mood reader and I wanna give myself space to make those spur-of-the-moment choices throughout the month. And two, because there is a readathon happening at the end of this month. It is the Camp WeekendWeen readathon, hosted by Oliviareadsalatte and Gabby Reads, and I'm very excited to be participating. There is nothing more fun than a readathon, and there's a lot to get read in the few days that Camp WeekendWeen is going on. I believe that Camp WeekendWeen, which is hard to say with my nasally sick voice, but I believe that Camp WeekendWeen is going to be taking place the 29th through the 31st of October. So the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of Halloween. There's 4 prompts to read, so that's a little intimidating, but I'm just gonna go ahead and get into my Camp WeekendWeen reads and then move on to the rest of my TBR. I'm gonna stop saying Camp WeekendWeen over and over again, but the first prompt for the readathon is to read a book with a green cover. So I'm going to read The Troop by Nick Cutter, which is a thriller that I have heard wonderful things about. I think it's also like a Lord of the Flies-esque slasher style thriller. So that sounds fun. And it has great on the cover. It's a book that I've been wanting to read for a while, so I've got it on tap for this readathon. She's getting into a lot of things that she doesn't need to be in. The next prompt is to read a book with a group of teens as the main characters, and so I feel like a pair of teens is can qualify as a group of teens. So for this prompt, I'm gonna read My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendricks. In August, I listened to the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendricks, and I adored it. I'll never read it again, but I thought it was fantastic. So I'm very excited to read one of his older works. The next prompt is an easy one. It's to just read a thriller slash horror slash slasher book of any kind. So I'm going to kind of leave this one open. I generally have Riley Sager book as my, fulfilling the prompt, but I'm gonna kind of leave it open because I have some other thrillers on my list. I've been working my way through Riley Sager's repertoire. I may make it to the end of that before I make it to the readathon. So we'll just see whatever thriller or horror book I have left at the end of the month. I'll probably just stick into that spot. And lastly, the fourth and final prompt is to read a book with a camp setting. And so for this, I will be reading The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson, which I love and adore the Truly Devious series. And so I'm very excited to be reading the newest installment, which does indeed take place in a camp. All right, so now on to the books that are currently sitting on my Libby shelf, waiting for me to listen to them. There are 4 books that are currently waiting for me to listen to them, which I will hopefully be getting through in the first little bit of October. And then I'll be moving on to other holds that I've placed and things like that. But I want to put these as their own category because they are going to be top priority. So first is American Sherlock by Kate Winkler Dawson, which I actually have already started as of a few minutes before recording this video. I started American Sherlock, but I won't be finishing it until into October. American Sherlock is by one of my favorite podcasters, Kate Winkler Dawson, who specializes in telling not ancient, but older true crime stories. And she tells the story in American Sherlock about a man who basically shaped the way that we go about forensics today. Why? This cat is really trying to get my attention, but then she doesn't want to be held or petted. But American Sherlock by Kate Winkler Dawson is narrated by the author, so having one of my favorite podcasters read her own book is just music to my ears. And speaking of one of my favorite podcasters reading their own book, the next book on my Livy shelf is Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered by Karen Kilgariff and Georgia Hardstark. I am trying to cut back on my true crime podcast obsessive listening at all times of day and night. One of the primary reasons why I was listening to my podcasts all of the time was to hear Karen and Georgia's voices and hear what they have to say. Even though I've heard it before, I want to know about their lives and I want to hear their encouragement and everything. And so that I will find in Stay Sexy and Don't Get Murdered, which is the dual memoir of the hosts of the My Favorite Murder podcast. This just came through my Livy shelf like 2 days ago, and I am so excited to listen to this book. Next is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix, which is Grady Hendrix's newest work, which I'm very, very excited about. Riley Sager, out of the 3 books, 2.5, because I'm currently reading The Last Time I Lied, but out of the 3 books of his that I've read, Final Girls, which is his first book, has actually been my favorite so far. And so the Final Girls idea, I'm very excited to see this approached by a different author and get to go kind of back into the same style of a story from Grady Hendrix's point of view, so it should be bloody and gory and disgusting and wonderful. And last on my Libby shelf right now is The Shadows by Alex North. I believe this is kind of an It style book where something happened to a group of people when they were children and now they're coming back to the story as adults. I don't know a ton about it, but I just know that it has good reviews, and so and also the cover is haunting, and so I want to read it. I want to read it. I want to have the experience, that same kind of similar experience without having to read it, because I just don't want to read it. And The Only Good Indians, which has a similar like childhood to adulthood horror structure, was a huge disappointment, so maybe The Shadows will come through for me. Next up on this TBR are physical books that I currently have in my possession, whether they're owned books or library books. As of today, these are books that I have in my possession. First up is That Affair Next Door by Anna Katherine Green. This is an ongoing read. I am book clubbing this with my mom. She picked this book out for us to read together, so I'm reading it here and there, and I really need to read the next section of this. Sorry, Mom. I really need to learn how to hold my books up higher. Sorry about that. Next up is The Declaration of the Rights of Magicians by H.G. Parry. I have DNF'd this book once, but not DNF'd it because I didn't like it, just DNF'd it because I kind of just stopped reading in general. Now I'm back to this book, and it just takes a long time to read. It's a very enjoyable experience. It just takes a long time to read, so I've put it down, but I'm going to finish it in October. I'm going to finish it because I want to read the sequel. Next is another very intricate fantasy that I have yet to finish, which is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Another one I am genuinely adoring, but I just haven't made it through yet. Now on the more Halloween side of things, next up is Whose Body by Dorothy Sayers. Dorothy Sayers is one of those classic Agatha Christie style murder mystery writers, and Whose Body is her first book in the Lord Peter Wimsey Lord Peter Wimsey series. One of my literature professors in college said that he believed that Dorothy Sayers was truly in love with Lord Peter Wimsey because he's just too perfect. And she wrote about him like he was the greatest man on earth, even though he didn't even exist. And my mom has read this. I'm borrowing it from her, and she loved it. So very excited for this one. Another borrow from the mom is these two books, Murder, She Knit and Knit of the Living Dead, both by Peggy Earhart. These are from her series, The Knit and Nibble Mysteries, which are cozy mysteries about a club of women who own cats, make snacks, and knit together, and then end up solving mysteries. Now, I've never read a Stephen King book before, and I've also never watched a Stephen King movie at this point in my horror journey. So this month, I'm hoping to finally read The Shining by Stephen King, the classic haunted house book that everybody knows and everybody loves, I think. And then the last two books that I have checked out from my most recent trip to the library, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern and Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. Now, I do realize that I'm not giving much of a synopsis or any synopsis at all to these books in this video, but this is really just for me to give you a list of titles to watch out for on my channel this month. And then if you want to know what I really think about these books, check out my reading vlogs, because I do close to full, definitely spoiler-free reviews on my reading vlogs. And now I have a list of books that I don't own and don't have on hold at the library, and it's kind of a grab bag of a list of books. When I get through all of the ones that I have in my physical possession, I am welcome to choose from any of these for my next read. This list includes Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, Survive the Night by Riley Sager, which I just saw Paperback Dream's new video about Survive the Night, so it makes me kind of nervous. All of the Hannibal Lecter books by Thomas Harris, being Red Dragon, The Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and Hannibal Rising. The Companion by Katie Allender, The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware, The Sundown Motel by Simone St. James, Bunny by Mona Awad, which is like at the top of this priority list, These Witches Don't Burn for a lighter witchy sapphic read, Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano, and in a complete left turn, The Little Book of Higa by Mike Viking. I'm really wanting to get into Higa. I'm planning on redecorating my apartment soon in the next couple weeks. I have not lived here very long, but I'm already ready to redecorate it, and so I want to get The Little Book of Higa to kind of help me create the perfect space. I'm also planning on using some online resources to help me achieve a personalized, Emma-fied Higa vibe in my apartment, but I think it would be a nice thing to have is The Little Book of Higa. And yeah, sorry for my raspy voice through this video, but those are all of the books that are on my to be read list, as well as my on my radar list for October. I'm so excited for this Halloween month. It's gonna be a great time. I have officially gotten sick and come out the other side, so I'm very excited to move on with my life and have a great Halloween month. But happy Squad Gourd season. I hope that you're doing well. If you're not, I hope it gets better soon, and I hope that you love what you're reading. Goodbye!